Hello everyone, Circeon here. How are you all doing today? I've recently gotten myself into a bit of a shiny hunting mood, embarking on quite a few journeys, some completed and some uncompleted to get that sweet old hit of dopamine. However, that adventure would have to be put on temporary hiatus as Blue Vector graciously granted me a chance to save my rapidly declining sanity by announcing the start of DA Weekend. For those of you out of the loop, DA Weekend is a shiny hunting event where trainers all over the world are invited to throw themselves into the depths of the max layer in order to try and find a shiny legendary. And this year would mark my very first attempt to do just that. However, there's a slight problem. I kinda don't have access to the max layer, but luckily that's a very easy problem to solve. All I need to do is board a train over to the Crown Tundra and offer NA as a tribute to be obliterated by Peony. With that done, I now have access to the max layer and can begin completing Dynamax adventures to try and fish for my targets. Luckily, I was able to get my first target, Zapdos, after only a few adventures, and even better than that, I got this only a few adventures later. Yep, I somehow managed to get a full odd shiny before DA Weekend even began. Which reminds me, all the shinies caught in this video are at full odds, both in Sword and Violet. But that's a story for later. And by later, I mean right now. So leading up to DA Weekend, I was doing my part to viciously destroy every single Wo-Chien raid I could get my hands on. And during this time, just 2 days before DA Weekend started, I was surprised by an outbreak of a Pokemon I had apparently never seen before in the lands of Paldea. My surprise soon turned to confusion as I found that the outbreak was Sinestea, a Pokemon I had already. Well, that certainly changes things. Yeah, so I had apparently lucked into a completely random authentic Sinestea outbreak just 2 days before DA Weekend. This, combined with my early Crawdaunt, had me feeling absolutely confident that I would get at least one of my targets during the upcoming event. So I quickly made myself an encounter boosting sandwich which wouldn't boost my shiny odds and began my hunt. And then it continued, and continued, and continued, and continued, until it could finally continue no longer, as I had spent well over 10 hours hunting without finding a single shiny for my efforts. I'll be back for you one day, Sinestea. Mark my words. With my confidence confidently crushed, I went into the first day of DA Weekend with less hope than anticipated, and started doing some random adventures to acquire a bit more Dionite ore for my eventual focus on my target, Moltres. I chose Moltres because it seemed like one of the easiest targets I could go for at the time. Plus, I wanted to eventually acquire every single shiny legendary from these dens, so I thought, might as well start with the Cantonian birds. However, before I even began hunting for my target, this happened. I decided to end my first day of DA weekend a couple hours after catching that shiny Slowbro, and picked things back up the following morning, where I kid you not, I got this on my very first adventure of day 2. However, that would sadly be the last shiny I caught during DA weekend, with my last and 100th Dynamax adventure being a Latios, since I had sadly run out of Dianite ore due to poor preparation. However, almost as soon as my DA weekend journey ended, the brand new Qian Pao raids began spawning in Paldea, and by some kind of divine providence, my first raid was near Alfornada, which brought my focus right back to a certain spectral teacup. So after a good night's rest, I hopped on my Switch and began date resetting in order to find a brand new authentic Sinestea outbreak, and was luckily able to find one after only 13 minutes. However, as time passed, I slowly realized that there was something wrong with this particular outbreak. Sinestea weren't spawning in the typical droves I was used to, and after an hour of growing increasingly frustrated with this outbreak's lack of spawns, I decided to bite the Remoraid and began date resetting once more to spawn an outbreak in a better area. And it was during that hour-long venture that I learned why that outbreak wasn't getting many spawns. Sableye. As soon as I saw this outbreak only a stone journey's toss away from my Sinestea outbreak, I realized that the reason for Sinestea's lack of spawns was due to Sableye eating up spawn numbers below ground, which meant that I had somehow found the one location that was suboptimal for hunting Sinestea. Okay, so I was originally gonna just leave this scene alone and move on with the video, but I wanted to show y'all proof that Sableye was in fact stealing Sinestea spawns below ground. Alright, that's neat, but why make a big deal of it? Well, while I was getting said footage, this happened. Yep, that is in fact a full odds random shiny Medicham. It's things like this that make me really love full odds hunting, because you never know when you'll encounter a random shiny while just roaming around. I was luckily able to catch this Medicham despite me throwing caution to the wind and using Fong Swipe on it, even though I was pretty sure it had high jump kick, which it did, along with the sleepy time mark. The lesson to be learned here is stay on the side of caution and just lead with Spore. We now return to our regularly scheduled video. Luckily though, I was able to find an optimal Sinestea spot a few minutes after that disappointing revelation and began my hunt yet again. And after only 2 hours of searching, I found a shiny. Notice how I didn't say the shiny. Oh hey, Blue Vector just posted something. I wonder how his DA weekend turned out. Mad? Mad? Why would I be mad? What possible reason would I have to be mad? I've just been searching for this stinking shiny Sinestea for a total of 17 hours, couldn't manage to find my target during DA weekend, and now I learned that Blue Vector hunted for these same exact targets I did, and all this bad luck and frustration started because of you. I finally found you. Anything you got to say before we do this? Hold on a minute. You don't have the move Memento? Then why did you say... Mad? Mad? Why would I be mad? Now's the time for celebration! Mazel tov, shiny Sinestea! Thanks for watching the video. All jokes aside, I had a really fun time during my first DA weekend. I know it may not come off that way throughout the video, but this adventure will be one I'll always remember. From the highs of finding a shiny Crawdaunt before DA weekend even started, to the lows of losing and redeeming one of my only ever shiny failings in Pokemon Violet. I definitely dropped the luxury ball during my first ever time participating in this event, and can now expertly fix those flaws in order to make my next time participating that much smoother. Before I go, a big shout out and congratulations to Blue Vector for hosting this event and finding their target shinies. I'm sure I'll get one next year. Maybe. Again, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to give it a like, and comment down below which of the shinies I caught that you liked the most. That's all from me. Take care, and have a great rest of your day.